Most people live with a deep fear of losing a job, losing a relationship, losing a competition. They cling, they hesitate, they avoid risk because the thought of failure is too much to bear. But here's the truth the Stoics understood. Loss is inevitable. No amount of fear can stop it. No amount of worry can change it. And the more you resist it, the more power it has over you. The Stoics didn't just accept loss, they embraced it. They knew that everything in life is temporary. That loss isn't an end, it's a beginning. That the true test of strength isn't avoiding failure, it's how you rise after it. In this video, we'll uncover why the Stoics never feared losing and how you can adopt their mindset to become unshakable. Because once you stop fearing loss, you become unstoppable. The fear of loss is universal. We've all faced it. Losing something or someone can feel devastating. It can make you feel like you've failed, like you've lost a part of yourself. It's easy to get caught in the emotion of loss, to let it weigh you down. For most people, loss feels final. It feels like something you can't recover from. But the Stoics believe that loss is just another part of life, and it doesn't have to be the end of the story. Instead of seeing loss as something to fear, they saw it as an opportunity to grow. What makes Stoic thinking different from most people's view of loss is this. The Stoics don't try to avoid loss, they embrace it. They know that life is full of change, and that everything is temporary. So, when loss comes, the Stoics focus on how they respond to it, not the pain itself. Fearing loss only leads to suffering. When we fear losing, we start avoiding challenges. We stay in our comfort zone, trying to avoid any situation that might lead to failure. But this often leads to regret because we miss out on opportunities. We let fear control our choices rather than living with the freedom to act despite fear. The Stoics rejected this mindset. They taught that loss isn't something that should stop you. Instead, it's an opportunity to practice resilience and growth. The Stoic solution to the fear of losing is simple. Embrace loss, learn from it, and use it to become better. When we face loss with a mindset of growth, we can turn any setback into an advantage. The Stoics also believe that we cannot control outcomes, but we can control how we respond. The reaction is everything. Rather than focusing on controlling the outcome, they taught us to focus on controlling how we respond to the challenges and losses we face. Example: Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, faced constant loss during his rule, betrayals, wars, personal challenges, and military setbacks. Despite all of this, he still found peace. He didn't let loss control him or his decisions. He faced each hardship with a clear mind, accepting it and finding wisdom in the process. He didn't let losses define him. Instead, he focused on how he could grow from every situation. Lesson: the Stoics show us that loss doesn't break us. It builds us if we choose to respond with wisdom, resilience, and growth. Now let's explore 12 Stoic strategies to let go of the fear of losing and turn those fears into strength, wisdom, and peace of mind. 1. Understand what you can control and what you can't. The first step in letting go of the fear of losing is realizing what is within your control and what isn't. So often, we stress over the outcomes of situations, but the Stoics taught us that we only have control over our actions and responses. Stoic rule: you can control your efforts, but not the result. Focus on the process, not the outcome. When you do your best and take action, the result is not in your hands. Stressing about outcomes adds more anxiety, but focusing on the effort frees you from fear. Example: Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, taught that the only thing within our control is our response to life's events. You can't control the reactions of others, the twists of fate, or the outcomes, but you can control how you act in response to them. Lesson: when you focus on what you can control, the effort you put in, you give yourself the best chance at success without being paralyzed by fear of failure. 2. Accept loss as a natural part of life. Loss is a natural part of life, whether we want to admit it or not. No matter how hard we try to avoid it, it will always be there. Instead of fearing it, the Stoics embraced loss as part of the natural cycle of life. Stoic rule: the universe is constantly changing. Loss is a part of the flow. Change and loss are inevitable. Life isn't static, and neither are we. The Stoics believe that accepting impermanence frees us from the pain and fear of losing things. When we understand that nothing lasts forever, we can appreciate the present and let go of the anxiety surrounding what we might lose. Example: the Stoics believed that by accepting impermanence, we stop holding on so tightly to things, which in turn reduces our fear of losing them. The more we cling to the idea of permanence, the more we suffer when things change. Lesson: accepting that loss is part of life helps you let go of the fear and live with a sense of peace about what comes and goes. 3. Reframe losing as a lesson. One of the most powerful Stoic techniques for dealing with loss is to reframe it as a lesson. Rather than seeing failure or loss as something to fear, see it as feedback. Stoic rule: every loss has a lesson, find it. When you experience loss or failure, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? The Stoics believe that failure is not the end, but an opportunity for growth and self-improvement. Every hardship can teach us something valuable about ourselves, life, and how we can do better next time. Example: Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, wrote that suffering can lead to strength if we learn from it. Instead of seeing challenges as roadblocks, he encouraged people to use them as stepping stones toward greater wisdom and resilience. Lesson: by reframing failure and loss as lessons, you transform them into tools for growth rather than experiences to fear. 4. Embrace the present moment. Fear of loss often stems from dwelling in the future. We worry about what might happen, what we might lose, or what could go wrong. But this focus on the future takes us away from the present, where life is happening right now. Stoic rule: focus on the present. Don't worry about what might happen. The future is uncertain and fear of it can paralyze us. The Stoics taught that the present is all we have. Instead of fearing the unknown future, focus on what you can do today. What actions can you take right now to make your life better? Example: Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers and Roman emperors, constantly reminded himself to live fully in the present. He didn't waste time worrying about future losses. Instead, he focused on making the most of every moment, no matter the challenges he faced. Lesson: when you focus on the present moment, you stop worrying about what might happen and free yourself from the fear of future loss. 5. Detach from outcomes. The desire for a specific result can create attachment, and attachment can lead to fear and anxiety. When we are attached to outcomes, we begin to let them control our peace of mind. We start expecting things to go a certain way, and when they don't, we feel like we've lost something of ourselves. But the Stoics taught us that true peace of mind comes from letting go of attachment to specific results. By focusing on the process and not obsessing over what might happen, we can remain calm regardless of the outcome. Stoic rule: let go of attachment to specific outcomes. The Stoics believe that peace comes from accepting that life is unpredictable. Instead of worrying about the result, focus on giving your best effort and trusting that the process will take care of the rest. By detaching from outcomes, you free yourself from the stress and fear of losing or failing. Example: the Stoics knew that external events were beyond their control. So, they practiced detaching from the need to control outcomes. Instead, they focused on their actions and responses, knowing that the only thing they could control was how they responded to the circumstances. Lesson: when you stop clinging to outcomes, you open yourself up to true peace and the freedom to enjoy the present moment. 6. Visualize worst-case scenarios. Fear of loss often comes from not knowing what to expect. The unknown, especially the worst-case scenario, can seem terrifying. But the Stoics believed that preparing for the worst would reduce the power of fear. Instead of avoiding uncomfortable thoughts or pretending nothing bad could happen, they faced it head-on. Stoic rule: negative visualization helps you accept the worst outcome. Negative visualization is a Stoic practice where you mentally prepare for the worst-case scenario. When you can imagine and accept that bad things might happen, you stop fearing them. It allows you to detach from outcomes and accept whatever happens, knowing you've mentally prepared for it. Example: the Stoics would regularly visualize worst-case scenarios so that when life didn't go as planned, they weren't caught off guard. By imagining their losses and struggles, they could accept them without panic. Lesson: visualizing the worst doesn't make you weak, it prepares your mind to face anything that comes your way, reducing the fear of losing. 7. Build resilience through practice. The more challenges you face, the stronger you become in handling them. The Stoics didn't shy away from discomfort. They embraced it. Facing challenges intentionally helped them develop mental resilience, so when the real struggles came, they were ready. Stoic rule: seek voluntary discomfort to grow stronger. To build resilience, the Stoics practiced discomfort in small ways every day. They would fast, live simply, or deliberately put themselves in uncomfortable situations to train their minds and bodies. The more discomfort they experienced voluntarily, the better they could handle real pain or loss when it came. Example: Roman Stoics would fast for long periods to train their willpower. They would live simply, with only the necessities, so that they wouldn't become attached to luxury or material comforts. By putting themselves through voluntary hardship, they built the resilience necessary to face the challenges of life without breaking. Lesson: practicing discomfort builds mental toughness. When you experience hardship voluntarily, you learn to embrace and handle real difficulties with strength. 8. Develop an inner sense of worth. One of the most painful aspects of losing is when it affects our sense of self-worth. Many people tie their identity and value to external things, like their job, their success, or their relationships. But this is a recipe for suffering because those things can change at any time. The Stoics believed that true self-worth comes from within. It is not based on external successes or failures. When you build your sense of value from within, no external event can ever take it away. Stoic rule: your value comes from within, not from external success or failure. Your identity should never be tied to things that are temporary. True strength and freedom come from internal stability, the ability to find value and worth in your character, decisions, and actions, rather than relying on external circumstances. You are valuable simply because you are human, not because of what you have or what you've achieved. Example: Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who was born into slavery, emphasized that inner freedom comes from detaching self-worth from external circumstances. He showed that no matter what happens externally, we can still choose how we define ourselves. Lesson: when you realize your worth comes from within, you stop fearing loss and the effect it might have on your self-esteem. You begin to live with a sense of inner peace that isn't shaken by the outside world. 9. Don't take things personally. One of the biggest sources of pain when we face loss is the impact it has on our ego. We often feel like we are being attacked or rejected when something doesn't go our way. The hurt we feel often comes from the idea that we have failed or that we are not good enough. But the Stoics taught us not to take things personally. Stoic rule: don't make personal what isn't personal. Loss isn't about you, it's about the situation, the event, or even the actions of others. When you take things personally, you give others the power to define your worth. The Stoics believe that our peace of mind comes from how we respond, not from how others treat us. Objective thinking can help you separate your identity from external events. Example: Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, advised that we should view all events objectively. He taught that nothing external, not failure, not loss, not criticism, should affect your inner peace. When you detach your identity from these events, you remain calm and unshaken. Lesson: don't let other people's actions or the outcomes of situations affect how you see yourself. 10. Practice gratitude, even during loss. In moments of loss, it's easy to feel like you've lost everything. The pain of what you don't have can overshadow what you still have, but practicing gratitude, even in the midst of difficulty, can help you shift your focus from loss to growth. When you focus on what you still have, you can begin to find meaning and strength in even the hardest situations. Stoic rule: focus on what you still have, not what you've lost. Gratitude shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance. The Stoics believed that every day is a gift, even when things don't go as planned. By practicing gratitude, you remind yourself that you still have control over your thoughts and attitude, no matter what's been taken away. Example: Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, practiced daily gratitude. He would reflect on what he still had: his health, his family, and his ability to make choices. No matter how much he lost, he always remembered that each day was a gift to be appreciated. Lesson: even in loss, there is always something to be thankful for. Gratitude gives you the strength to face challenges with a peaceful mind. 11. Build mental strength with discipline. The ability to handle loss and adversity isn't something we're born with, it's something we build through mental discipline. The Stoics believe that discipline in everyday actions makes it easier to remain calm and rational during difficult times. It's the small, consistent efforts we make each day that strengthen our minds and prepare us for life's challenges. Stoic rule: mental strength comes from the small daily actions you take to build your mind. The Stoics practice self-reflection every day, asking themselves questions like, "What did I learn today?" and "What can I improve tomorrow?" They also focused on controlling their desires and not letting their impulses control them. This helped them remain steady in the face of difficulty. Discipline helps you maintain your composure when things don't go as planned. Example: the Stoics practice self-control by rejecting luxury and excess. They train their minds to stay focused on their purpose, no matter the external circumstances. This daily mental training prepared them to face loss with strength and resilience. Lesson: build mental discipline in small daily actions, and when challenges come, you'll be prepared to handle them with strength and clarity. 12. Realize that losing doesn't define you. One of the most important lessons the Stoics taught is that you are not defined by your failures or losses. It's easy to think that failure is the end, or that it says something about who we are as people. But the Stoics believe that how we respond to failure, not the failure itself, is what defines our character. Stoic rule: what you do in response to loss is what defines you. Losing doesn't make you a failure. What matters is how you rise after a loss, how you learn from it and keep moving forward. Your response to adversity is the measure of your strength. Failure is only permanent if you choose to let it define you. Example: the Stoics often faced difficult situations, whether personal, financial, or political. But they were taught that it wasn't the failure that mattered, but how they responded to it. Epictetus, born into slavery, never let his circumstances define his worth. Instead, he focused on how he could respond to each moment with dignity, courage, and wisdom. Lesson: you are not your failures. What matters is how you react to them and how you move forward with strength and wisdom. The Stoics didn't fear loss, they embraced it. They understood that life is filled with ups and downs, and that loss is inevitable. Instead of running from loss or letting it define them, they used it as an opportunity to refine their character and build mental resilience. By applying the Stoic principles we've covered, you can shift your mindset from fear of losing to empowerment through acceptance and detachment. The Stoics didn't see loss as an end, they saw it as part of the journey. They knew that every challenge was an opportunity to practice wisdom, patience, and emotional control. They believed that every moment of difficulty was a chance to grow stronger. Here's how you can use Stoic wisdom to build mental resilience. 1. Accept what you can't control. When you focus only on what you can change, you free yourself from the pain of trying to control everything. 2. Detach from outcomes. Don't tie your happiness or peace to results. Focus on your effort, not the result. 3. Embrace discomfort. Seek out small challenges to prepare yourself for larger struggles. The more you face discomfort, the more resilient you become. 4. Learn from loss. Every loss has something to teach you. Reflect on what you can learn and use that to grow. The Stoics knew that strength doesn't come from avoiding challenges. Instead, it comes from facing them head-on and using them to build your inner fortitude. Mental resilience is built over time, one decision at a time. The fear of losing is a natural part of life, but it doesn't have to control you. The Stoics taught us that loss is inevitable, but it's how you respond to it that makes all the difference. By following the 12 Stoic rules we've discussed, you can start building a mindset that turns loss into power. Instead of fearing what you might lose, you'll see every challenge as an opportunity for growth and a chance to practice resilience. The Stoics showed us that the moment we stop fearing loss is when we become unshakable. When you can accept, detach, and grow from every experience, you'll find yourself stronger, calmer, and more in control than ever before. Embrace the Stoic way, and you'll never fear losing again. Stay strong, stay wise, and as always, stay stoic. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss new videos. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.